Hello and welcome back. This is the Siberian here with another glorious battle replay. This is actually a single player battle from a campaign to test out the latest version which just released. Go ahead and check it out on the ModDB page, which is linked in the description. But I was playing as Sweden and fighting against Russia and Poland, Lithuania, and most of my forces were in that eastern theater of war. Oh, let's check out this cav charge on the artillery real quick. Oh, a couple solid shots just go right through the cab. They still managed to break them though, but now they're getting charged by more British cav. Anyways, perhaps we'll put this into slow-mo here for a second. But the British, while our forces were occupied in the east, declared war and landed right at Gothenburg, which is that little iron factory spot. And I mustered a quick ragtag force to confront them. So this is my initial attack. Looks like my hunters got some really good shots off as their peasant pikemen were charging forward. And I think we should be able to hold them off. We'll see though. Anyways, so I mustered a force of a couple of my home guard, which was these two in Delta regiments, and then I called back some Finnish troops, so that's this one here and this one here from the Finnish theater, and then I quickly raised some Varvade regiments and some artillery, along with a couple of hussars, which I think are still, I moved them up a bit. So I have two units of light hussars, and then this Finnish light cavalry, which was seen off by the artillery and enemy cavalry. And then I have the hunters, which did manage to break those pikemen, which is very, very good for our hopes. Before we get too far in, oh yeah, here's the British army is pretty nicely balanced. Anywho, I just wanted to mention before we get too far, because I usually mention this at the end, but I actually have a lot of viewers who are not subscribed, which is fine, you know, do whatever you want, but if you're interested in this type of content, I do make it fairly often. So if you want to catch more of these, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. It helps out me, doesn't do you any harm. You can unsubscribe at any time. Just a thought. Anywho, nobody likes a subscriber beggar, so let's dive into the battle itself. Oh, and our hunters got ridden down by this regiment of horse, and they are shattered. And their peasants came back. Anyways, why I showcased this battle, it's not huge, but it does do a good job, I think, of showing how the new differences in factions really do affect how you're going to have to fight different factions. So previously I've been fighting a lot of the Danish or the Russians with my Swedish forces. Now let's check out this cav battle. So this is the first time really getting into a big conflict with Great Britain with the Swedes, and their cavalry is quite good, and their infantry is really good and disciplined in line. So I had to change up my strategies, because normally it's like, oh, you know, I can outshoot the enemy, at least the Russians, for sure, because they have the poor gunpowder. Only their elite troops get the imported gunpowder. guess I don't need to move on yet. There's nothing else happening. So I was able to normally, outshoot the Russians and then charge to break them. So I have to adopt a whole different strategy here. So this is very close, but even though my horses are winning, they've taken more losses. And so they do end up breaking. And enemy regiment, the British regiment of horses, now riding down my retreating guys, at least a little bit. Down to 98 out of an initial 200. That's over 50%. And now they make the mistake of charge. There's a nice volley. You can see the British horse dropping on that ridge. Unable to build up the momentum to charge. Beautiful. That should shatter them almost completely. So now I've spotted that they're formed kind of behind this artillery. So I'm moving my forces that direction over this way and putting my artillery up on this hill. Looks like we got a little... Oh yeah, we broke these guys easily enough, and now we're marching after them. So already a very bloody battle. And did my... Now these guys don't recover. So now it's just a matter of getting up there and taking out the enemy infantry, which I know is somewhere on the backside of this hill. They're bouncing their shots off the hill, and they get incredibly lucky here in a little bit. And a shot that bounces off the hill happens to hit right in front of one of these cannons and bounce through both of them, destroying this whole 3-pounder unit. It just, yeah, so lucky. This might be it now. This is, like, see, it's bouncing off the hill right in front of them. And I was like, oh, alright, we're safe. We got the cover of the trees. Oh! Missed a small cav engagement here. Hussar, my 2 Hussars were able to see off and shatter a regiment of horse. So that's very good. They did end up getting shaken, at least one of them, but didn't lose too many. That's good. Still have a powerful cavalry force on that flank. Oh yeah, and there it just happened. That was one shot, went through both. I was like, are you kidding me? Alright. Getting to spot some of the enemy infantry, and so I'm moving my main lines forward and having the Varvade regiments, which is kind of like your enlisted regiments, or, you conscript them. So they're not as unified as your in Delta regiments. For the Swedes, having them take in the flank, where they can hopefully put down, good fire without taking the brunt of the enemy's fire. Take a quick look. The British lines, they got the redcoats here, line infantry. This is one of the starting line infantry units because it's got 160. It's a solid force of line infantry here, and there's more that I can't see, I think, in these woods. Yep, there's one. Just spotted it. And there's another. Now they're opening fire through the dense trees onto my units. They're running into position, taking heavy losses though. Let's take a look. Returning fire. Oof, we are definitely getting chewed up though, as you can already tell by this British infantry. We are, you know, getting some good shots on them, but they're definitely winning the confrontation. Let's check back over here. We're shooting down the cannon crews, which break, but sometimes when cannoneers break, they don't rout. So you just kind of gotta volley into them. Getting into formation here. Let's see a nice one. About 10 on that volley alone. Now we have wiped out the cannoneers. Back in the forest, it is rough fighting. Heavy losses on both sides. British lines are interwoven a little bit. These guys don't have good firing angles. This Varvade has already lost about 40 something troops. Oh, and this one is just absolutely decimated, down to 186. It's 100 troops. And you can see the bodies littering the floor. Its general and flag bearer are down to 160. And so I'm realizing at this point, yeah, we're not winning a shootout. And so I charge in the cav, charge in the infantry. These are my Finns. Finns in general are pretty good at infantry, or good at melee. That's what I'm trying to say. And so pull the cav, at least one unit. This was the healthier of the two units of cav out, so I can rear charge. Combination of cav and infantry attack is working well, and we finally break that British line. They did kind of refuse the flank here, and my Varvade regiments, having taken so many losses up here, had to fall back. And let's look at that carnage. The British here, they also have taken about 50% losses almost. Still steady. This one has broken though. And now we're gonna get a nice volley into the flank. Let's watch from the British perspective. Come on, Finns. Let's see your volley fire. Here they go. Oh! And just a devastating close range volley. Sets them to wavering. And now the Finns come charging in. And that breaks that British line. This unit that I saw off earlier is returning. Still has 170 men approximately. This one is untouched. And actually drove back this Varvade regiment. So overall our Varvade regiments, which were the conscripted troops, took heavy losses. And even now these guys are losing, the other Finnish regiment are losing a shootout with the Brits. They're however getting some close range volleys now. And surrounding the enemy. Let's check back. Now getting ready to deal with the enemy line that reformed in our flank. Oh, I might have left them off of fire at will. That's a big mistake. Oh no, here they go. Perhaps. Yep. So we're returning fire now. And another cav charge in the rear of these British troops, who are quite numerous. Oh, and then here we go. We have a massive Swedish charge. I had to charge because if I kept just firing, I was going to lose. So we continue our charge right into the backs of this infantry, which is breaks as well. And so we facilitate a mass rout. And now the Brits have lost heart. One has to be formed, but with the cover of the trees, our troops should definitely wear them down and win that combat. And we just absolutely devastate the British formations here, although we took heavy loss to do so. And see, once again, I'm trying to shoot out with the British, and we are definitely losing that battle. So I have to adapt, and I pull back these guys here in a little bit, draw them out of the forest, and then I send this one to reinforce so we can have a numerical superiority. Beautiful. So yeah, they are chewing us up on this flank, and so decide to withdraw out of the max range so I can bring some flanking fire to bear on them. Meanwhile, their general is just chilling here. So we form up. No rush. I think I just realized the general is actually there. I just missed him before. And down he goes. Well, this volley should take out the general. Oh, the general so far has survived. Is that him right there? But he is shattered, which shatters the enemy morale. This one's now shaken. Fire a volley over here. Getting ready to charge our cav and our infantry. And I decided to charge this unit because this one is the one being fired upon. And the combination of cav and infantry charge just breaks the British morale. This is where we won the battle. I hit continue just to ride down the last few. And we have won the day. So that was a nice little battle against John Churchill, Winston Churchill's ancestor. As you can see, the British actually deployed just slightly more than me, and I lost over 1,000 troops, so nearly half my force. The British lost 2,000 out of 2,800, almost 2,900. So they still have nearly 1,000. Well, nearly 900 troops remaining, but we definitely were the victors this day. Let's look at kills. Yeah, so our Finnish regiment that charged got quite a few kills. Pretty balanced over our hussars. Definitely punched above their weight limits. Hunters did pretty good, although they got wiped out. Finnish light cav, only 44 kills. Those were cannons, and then they got shot last second by the cannons and charged by cav. So these guys unfortunately had a rough time of it. And then my 2 artillery pieces that just got sniped by bouncing shot. Anyways, I thought this would be a fun one to showcase a little bit of the mod and how you have to switch up your tactics. I had a lot of fun playing this. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll leave you with this cinematic outro. Till next video, have a good one. Bye.